We can have knowledge, and our knowledge is very limited, but it's something. And we have knowledge of literal things, laws of physics, laws of morality, whatever those laws may be. Again, also with physics. We don't really know what's going on with physics. What we have right now is, you know, the best guess we currently, the best guess we found up to this point. We keep working and we find new laws of physics and things which were completely incontrovertible before. You know, like Newton's laws of motion, F equals ma. Turn out to be wrong when you put them in a weird context. If you go near light speed, you know, it doesn't, you can apply a whole lot of force to a limited mass, but it doesn't go past light speed, and it seems to get more massive somehow, and we find loopholes in all the laws. We find loopholes, or things that don't make sense anyway, in our own moral laws. Okay, that doesn't mean it's complete crap, though. It doesn't mean it's completely pointless. I believe there is meaning to the world. There is right and wrong, there is good and evil somewhere out there, and I believe it is logically appropriate to assume that it exists out there. This is a video I did quite a while ago called The Parable of the Snakes, and I'll summarize it for you briefly. You have a man out in a field of snakes, and he's bitten, and he's got the poison going through his veins, he's going to die, and he has an antidote with him, but it's an antidote that works only on the rarest type of snake. So there's very little chance it will save him. But he realizes that if he doesn't take the antidote, that makes his chances even lower. He can either have a very small chance of living, or a 0% chance of living. So he takes the antidote. Now, to apply the metaphor, what we have here is, suppose you argue to me that there's a very small chance that meaning exists in the world. Note that you can only argue it down to the very small chance. You cannot say with 100% certainty. Nothing is 100% certain. Nothing at all. Nothing. Some people sometimes they'll say that. They'll say, well, nothing is certain except for logical certainties like 1 + 1 = 2. And I'm like, well, you know, technically, maybe you're insane. And you're insane, so you think 1 + 1 = 2, and really somehow it doesn't. Which seems unlikely to me. But I'm just saying, technically, nothing is certain. As far as I can tell. I suppose I think, therefore I am is a pretty good, solid thing there. But maybe that screws up somehow, too. I don't know. Suppose you argue, though, using whatever arguments in the world, that there's a very small chance that there is meaning in the world. You can't actually get it all the way down to 0. You can get down to a small chance. That small chance, though, that antidote which works only on the rarest snake, that thing which only has a small chance, I keep saying chance, of saving me, that's still something. It's like this. If there's meaning in the world, or allow me to set up a little box for you. There are 4 quadrants here. You see, the meaning exists, or does exist. The right and wrong, there's some sort of fundamental right and wrong, or there isn't. And then there's whether I believe in right or wrong, and whether I don't. So there's 4 options when you combine those. If there is a fundamental right and wrong, and I believe in it, great. Then I can, you know, make some progress towards finding out what's right and finding out what's wrong and acting accordingly. I gain benefit from that. If there's right and wrong, and I don't believe in it, that sort of sucks for me then, because I have a much, you know, lesser chance of doing the right thing if I give no thought at all to what's right and wrong. If, on the other hand, that other column, though, that right and wrong do not exist, there is no meaning, there is no reason, there is no good, evil, fundamentally, then it doesn't matter what I believe, does it? Now, this does not work for most sorts of belief, because it works particularly to this question, the right and wrong question, the meaning of life question. Is there a meaning? If there isn't a meaning, then there's nothing wrong with me believing that there is a meaning, because there would be no meaning to that, you see. If there really is absolutely, fundamentally nothing right about having true beliefs and wrong about having false beliefs, then if I have the false belief that truth exists, then we've just defined that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all, apparently. So what I'm left with here is believing in a meaning of life is either a positive thing or a neutral thing. Not believing is either a negative thing or a neutral thing. And again, even if this column over here, this meaning exists, even if that's a very small chance of being true, the math still works out that it's better to believe that there's some sort of meaning out there. Now what meaning is there, though? Exactly. Well, that I'm not answering it. What is the meaning, now that we assume that it's out there? Well, I think it has something to do with happiness, and love, and kindness, generosity, these virtues of various kinds. That's as best as I've figured so far. I might be wrong somehow, I don't know. If I trace my logic back far enough, I find that, I believe that happiness is a good thing kind of on a hunch. I mean, what objective proof do I have that objectively the universe cares about happiness? Per se. I can use that argument from a moment ago that I ought to assume that the universe cares about something. How do I know it's happiness, though? Maybe sadness is somehow better on some sort of weird fundamental scale that I don't... Why did I choose happiness over sadness? A hunch. That's kind of what I have right there. I mean, I could also appeal to billions of other people who also think that happiness is better than sadness, and but I can't give it to you scientifically, can I? I'm sort of on a hunch at that point. Okay, that's weird, but you know what? Sometimes a hunch is the best you have on a certain question. I've had great scientific evidence, that'd be even better. I don't. For this particular philosophical question. Philosophical questions are hard to answer scientifically, The hunch, though, is still something. The nihilist, you see, takes it a step too far. And this is sort of another way of nihilism, is of denying this knowledge and that knowledge and this, because I can't be sure. I can't be sure of this or that 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 or that. And what you have here is this sort of uncertainty, which is then taken a step too far into the I absolutely know nothing, therefore none of it matters. And then you most likely get very depressed. Because again, consciousness is sort of based on stuff mattering. Nothing matters absolutely fundamentally. What are you going to do? But again, something is better than nothing,